The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Next on the Bronx Journal, Eric Gleason, who has spent 18 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Chris Manatakis will talk to us about local celebrity theater. And James Duarte will discuss the Dominican Film Festival.
This is the Bronx Journal, the television edition of the online multilingual community newspaper. Published by the students and faculty of the Journalism, Communication, and Theater Department at Lehman College. On the internet, on the radio, and on television, the Bronx Journal covers the issues concerning the people of the Bronx.
Hello, and welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm Madavi Gutierrez. Imagine spending your entire young adult life and formative years in a prison cell for a crime you didn't commit. In the United States, about 10,000 people are wrongfully convicted each year, and since 1989, only 3,000 have been exonerated after many years spent in jail. Eric Gleason is one of those people. Convicted of murder back in 1997, he spent almost 18 years of his life in prison. After a long overdue release date in 2012, he came back to his hometown of the Bronx to have a fresh start. Fresh Take is a juice bar and the first of its kind in the Westchester Avenue area. Here to tell us more are Eric Gleason and his employee Keyshawn Lekra. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Take me back to Eric Gleason, 1995.
Eric Gleason in 1995 was a man who just had a 2-week-old daughter and was just abruptly just snatched off the street and arrested for a murder he never committed.
How old were you at the time?
I was 18.
Wow. And how old were you when you were convicted?
I was 20 going on 21.
So, take me back to that day. That day, what were you doing? What were you doing in your life at that time?
Well, I used to sell used cars. I used to buy used cars from auctions and, refurbish them and then resell them.
And you just had a daughter?
Yes.
Are you married?
No.
Or were you married at the time?
No.
Why do you think you were considered a suspect at the time?
To this day, I don't know. I still don't know why the police chose me and the other individuals who was ultimately convicted with me, because they have not made any statements on why they did it, but they did say they had a witness who we now learn was having a improper relationship with the detective who arrested us.
So how did your incarceration change your relationship with your child and therefore your family?
My relationship with my family and my daughter became extremely strained. Because of the distance, you feel like you ostracized from your family. The prison system is designed to, effectively cut you off from your family, your loved ones, because they have these visiting procedures where you only get to see them maybe once or twice a week, and they send you to far distant areas of the state, and it's very difficult to reach there. Maybe 8-hour, 9-hour ride on a bus just to get to Auburn or Comstock or Sing Sing. Attica.
Were those some of the prisons you were staying in?
Yes.
And they were 8-9 hours away?
Yes.
Did you see your daughter often throughout the years?
Yes, I've seen her often, but it's challenging, you know, to sit there and just have like a normal relationship with her. Because, you know, you eventually you have to leave after the visit, and she goes her way, you go your way, and, you know, you never really establish that bond. So it's like basically an open relationship with your child, and you try your best to stay in contact and to, like, you know, keep focused that one day you and her will share something special.
Yeah. Did your family ever, for once, think you were guilty?
I'm not sure. I don't know what was going through their minds, but I noticed a lag in their support of me while I was in there. I noticed that a lot of them didn't visit me or either write me, and, you know, I assumed that they was under the impression that I was actually guilty.
Wow. Did you have any friends supporting you? Did your baby moms or your girlfriend?
No, she immediately, like, after maybe 8 or 9 months of me being incarcerated, she left.
So being left alone, knowing truly that you were innocent, how did you feel when all you had was this cot and 4 walls around you?
Well, I felt lost. You feel lost in there. You feel like this is a place that you don't belong in, you know, but you make it into a pivotal part of your life. You turn it into a pivotal part of your life. Okay, I'm here. What do I do now? They have all of these programs and vocational facilities that you can go to that teach you different tools and stuff. So I got involved in that, and I just, you know, just embedded myself in learning in there, reading everything. I got into college while I was in there, into Mercy College. I did theater acting with I did Mice of Men, Macbeth,
Nice.
West Side Story, One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Oedipus Rex. I did.
You did more stuff than me.
Yeah, I did a lot of acting in there, because they have like producers that come from Broadway theaters, and they come up and volunteer to help us put on plays.
Wow.
And they bring all of these choreographers, speech therapists, stage designers, set designers, acting coaches. It's extensive.
Where did this all happen? Did this all happen in different jails, or was it at one specific jail?
In Sing Sing Correctional Facility.
Okay. And did you throw yourself? How long did it take you for you to like dive into these different activities and say, hey, I'm gonna just do what I have to do, and at some point I will get out of here? Well,
I use them as a distraction, you know, because like every waking hour in there is like a nightmare. So I figured if I just, you know, get involved in all of this stuff, I would be distracted from thinking about my current situation. So I did plumbing, electrician, asbestos removal, computer repair, small appliance repair, building maintenance. I did everything. I did every vocation they had available. And then I began to teach the GED class, and eventually I moved on to the Mercy College program and was going into the master's program.
Wow. So you have your master's?
No, I was abruptly kicked out of prison.
Abruptly kicked out?
Yeah, they just came and just told me they had like 15 minutes to get me out.
Because they have found the true...
I only had like 9 classes left for my bachelor's. I did my bachelor's in behavioral science. And 2 days after I was released, I was back on Mercy College campus, and I wrote the president, and I asked her if I could do those 9 classes in one semester, and she let me do it. Nice. So I graduated 6 months after I was released from prison.
Wow, with a BA in behavioral science.
And now I'm working on my LSATs.
Nice. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
How was it adjusting back into society after being gone for so long?
Well, I knew I had to reacclimate somehow. I knew it would be difficult, but I just had to observe, through empirical. I had to empirically just work my way back into society, so I didn't feel ostracized. I didn't feel like I didn't belong here, because you're going from one culture to another. And so I started observing everything. I learned all of the new societal norms, even the younger kids, the subcultures. I watched how they dressed, how they talked. And so, I started to just regress back into how I was before I went into prison. And so, my acclimation wasn't as difficult as I expected it.
Did you use a lot of what you learned in prison?
Yes.
To
yes.
further that acclimation?
Yes. With the theater group, they teach you about the process in life. How you just everything is a process. It's just you have to just involve yourself. You can't just remain distant. You have to get out there and socialize. And that's what I did.
And now you have your own business.
Yes.
Did you always, while in prison, did you think that you were going to own your own business one day, or were those your initial plans?
I didn't think anything. I had life. I thought that I would die in there. I've seen countless people, die in prison. And, you wonder if that's going to be you. And so you resolve yourself to that fate.
How did you protect yourself from besides throwing yourself academically into, staying away from the actual scenes from jail, but how did you protect yourself?
You mean like the violence in there and stuff?
How did you keep that away from you?
Well, my father told me one time, he said you pick and choose your friends, because when something goes wrong, you have nobody to blame but yourself. So in there, you have different groups of guys, that's involved in mischief and gangs and drugs. If you can just avoid getting involved with all the drugs and the gangs, you'll be fine.
So how was your first day out of prison? Initially, how did you feel?
My first day, I had lamb chops. I had lamb chops that, I've been dying to eat for the longest. My family used to bring me food and stuff like that. I'll cook in there and, buy stuff from the commissary, but, it wasn't the same, because everything there has to be pre-cooked, like they bring in.
Right.
But just having those lamb chops raw and seeing them being cooked and smelling them, and it was...
So they took you out and you had a nice dinner.
They took me out. NBC, New York One, with my lawyer and a few members of my family, we all went out.
That's good. And how old was your daughter when you came home?
19. She just turned 19 this year.
Wow. Okay. And so, Fresh Take. How did that come about?
Well, I didn't know anything about juicing, nothing. But I observed how health conscious everyone has become out here. Everyone's joining gyms, running around. In my neighborhood, they have a lot of runs, races and stuff, and people on bikes out and about. And I went to a few juice bars and I tasted their juices, and I was like, wow, these are delicious. I need to do this. I need to, be able to provide this to people. So I found one store, and then that didn't turn out good, but it was just by happenstance that I was driving past a vacant storefront, and I seen a for rent sign, and I looked up, and it was under a Planet Fitness gym. So I called the realtor, and I leased the place, and I went in there and built everything from scratch myself.
Because you knew all the plumbing.
Yeah, I knew all of that.
God is good.
Yes, He is.
All the time. Thank you. And we'll be back after break with more of Eric Listen.
year, mothers lose their babies to gun crimes. You'll always be your mother's baby. So before you commit a gun crime, think about who you'll leave behind. Gun crimes hit home.
Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. Joining us now is Eric Glisson employee Keyshawn Lecroix. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. We were just talking about Fresh Take, and Eric was telling us that, you know, he went to a couple juice bars when he first got out, and, you know, it interested him, the business of fresh juices, and he was riding around, saw this empty space under Platinum Fitness, and he decided, hey, I'm gonna go for it. So why Fresh Take?
Well, I figured I had a fresh take on life. You know, this is my second chance. You know, my first was taken from me, so this is my second chance, so I figured I might as well, you know, begin it with something healthy and nurturing.
So, Keyshawn, how did you get involved with Fresh Take?
I was actually a member at the gym at the time. And
At Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever I would come down for the gym, I saw, before Eric started to actually open up the store, I would walk by and I always wonder, like, what are they making here? I look up at the sign, I see it's a juice bar. And I haven't really been to juice bars lately, especially in the Castle Hill area. So when they finally opened, I was like one of their first customers. So I walked in, and I remember the first drink I asked them. I was like, let's start off with something simple. Let me get mango banana. And then after that, every single day after a workout, I would start coming in and like asking for the same thing. Then he remembers my first drink. I wouldn't even have to tell him. And if you ask him right now, he would tell you right off the bat what was my first drink I ordered.
So is that what you always order, or have you
No, it was
special.
It was a special one that he always made, and it was always on the menu. Whenever I walked into the door, he already knew what I wanted.
Nice, so great customer service.
Yeah, he was the main reason why I got attracted into that store.
Right.
And the more I kept going in, the more me and him got close and we connected, just to find out that we both graduated from the same college. And once he told me his background, I never really heard or met anybody who's done something like this after getting out from being wrongfully accused. When he told me that story, I was like, I want to work here. I want to be a part of this because I believe in him. He told me his story. He's like, not too many people believed in him, but only a certain few did. I told him I want to be one of those few people who believed in him, and here I am. I was like, he gave me the job, and I'm happy where I'm at.
Hired on the spot?
Yep, hired on the spot.
So what are some of the specialty drinks from Fresh Take?
The Tropical Treasure, the Monkey Mango, the Soupy Immune Boost, the Red Rocket. It's extensive. How
did you come up with the names and decide on the different properties that each juice was going to have?
Well, you know, just the fruit that goes in it, you know, correlates with something with bananas, monkeys,
right.
With the mango, the Monkey Mango, and, you know, the Tropical Treasure, pineapple, bananas, mango, kiwi, things of that nature.
And how many workers do you have now?
Well, actually 3 now.
And how long has the store been open?
About 2.5 months, since December 13th.
Since December 13th?
Yeah, I was ultimately exonerated December 13th, 2012, and I opened the store on December 13th, 2013. 1 year to the date.
Do you see more stores? Do you see Fresh Take as a franchise?
We already began the process with the paperwork with my attorney, and we are actually looking into bottling it right now for sales at stores at Fairway, Pathmark, and Bravos.
What has been the initial community's response to the opening of the store?
Everyone that comes in there says that this is a total contrast to everything in the area, in the neighborhood. They have Checkers, they have McDonald's, they have all of these restaurants.
The whole place was just overrun by fast food restaurants.
Yes.
Right. And you guys are the only one in that area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much that has fresh fruits and vegetables.
So basically we have a monopoly on, fresh take on life.
Nice. And what exactly is your role, is your job description at the
manager?
Manager.
Look at you.
3 months in, huh?
Yeah, 3 months in and you're a manager already? So you get to manage the other workers. Are you making juices yourself too?
Yeah, I'm actually the one training the workers, making sure that they put the right amount, they greet the customers, make them feel welcome. That's one thing that we try to excel on. Just make sure the customers come back every single day, greet them with a smile, ask them how their day was, and they leave with just knowing that they have someone listening to them, giving them input, taking their input, and basic communication between customer and the workers themselves is something that they really love, and we love it too.
Well, that's one of the things that attracted you to the company, was great customer service, and so it should be something that you guys keep up, and that will attract more customers, of course.
Yes.
What did you study in Mercy College?
It was funny. Computer science.
Nothing to do with you saying.
Exactly.
It's funny.
It'll come in handy.
You never, whatever you go to college for, like nearly 90% of the students never go into the field that they studied for. It's strange.
Yeah.
Like my degree is in behavioral science, but I'm actually going to law school this fall, so it's total contrast.
But there's a lot I think there's a lot you can do there especially with your background and in different behaviors and law. I think those two things can go hand in hand because you have experience in both. So.
Yeah, but I don't want that. I don't want the law degree for that. I want the law degree to run for public office.
And what do you want to do with that?
I figure that if you scream from the outside, nobody really hears you. And actually, I have three friends who was unjustly convicted that we hang out together. My friend Jeffrey Deskovic, my friend Keon Katabi, and Jabbar Collins. Jeff right now is working on his PhD. Keon he graduates next month from Cardozo Law School, and Jabbar is actually going to law school next year. So we all we have plans to run for public office within the next 5 years, all of us.
That's great. And I think you guys could do something really great.
Yes.
Especially here in the Bronx. So.
Yeah, there's a serious flaw in our justice system, and it's ironic that we go around the world, projecting this nation of law and order when we have serious flaws back here.
And we got you guys to rectify at some point, right?
Yeah, but it'll take a lot. But each time you hammer away at that wall, like the Berlin Wall, a piece falls.
I want to go back to the fresh take. You said you had a lot of experience in jail. Now, you learned a lot of things in prison, while in prison. What skills did you take out of prison that helped you build this new business?
Well, my acting skills. I know I never juiced anything in my life. I never blended anything or used a juicer, but I knew once I opened that front door for customers to come in, I knew I had to look like I knew what I was doing. And so, I would just be intense, acting like I knew what I was doing, and, eventually it grows on you. And so, I'm a juicer now.
I should know. That's how he got me in.
Yeah. Well, he was asking me questions, and I like freestyled off the top of my head. I just told him anything, but I was convincing,
right.
and they believed me.
Which is what actors do.
Yes.
And you also said, and I also read that you built the whole. How was the space when you?
It was dilapidated. I mean, holes in the walls. The ceiling was in shambles, but I went in there, and I would go in every morning at like about 7 o'clock and leave at like 12 or 1 and just work my way through the day.
So you build that place from the inside out, basically, all yourself,
including the sign, the display sign up front. Everything. I took it all down, put my sign up. All of the walls, the ceilings, the floors. I built back rooms. I built the tables that the customers sit at. I built the bar stools that they sit on.
So all the profit came back to you.
Yes.
You didn't have to spend any money.
Anything.
That's awesome. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So, with this amazing life story, do you plan on turning this life story into a book, a movie? What do you plan on doing with all this history?
I just finished my documentary with Dateline, NBC. Okay. They've been following me around for a whole year.
Nice.
I finished that yesterday. It's going to air within the next 2 to 3 weeks. After that, I'll be going out to California with Universal Studios. You know, we're working on a story of my life, a movie about my life, which I'm going to act in myself.
God.
And, you know, from there is whatever comes my way, whatever opportunities, I'm going to take them.
Amen to that. And where do you see yourself in the next year or so with the company? You've only been there 3 months, so what are your plans?
Well, I told Eric myself, we had conversations late at night. I told him my goals that I wanted, the things I want to do in life. Main thing, help my family out, be able to help my friends out. Main thing, the one thing that I always told him, that I'm going to have his back. So wherever he's going to go, I'm going to be there right now. I told him I want to be his right-hand man. So whatever it came to, when it came to a manager, when this store expands into a franchise, I want to be the one that's there to help him take control, watch over everything, and be there, be his ear, be his eyes.
And that's why he's here with me now. You know, people stick by me and believe in me. I don't forget them. You know, I know what it's like to be abandoned. Right. I know what it's like to, you know, have people just discard you. So I went and bought 3 domain names. I went and bought Fresh Take Bronx, Fresh Take NYC, and Fresh Take USA. So as we grow, we can just expand throughout the country.
What was one of the things that made you want to be friends with this man? One thing that comes to mind.
Loyalty.
And anything you want to say to the American people? Any words of encouragement, wisdom that you want to say?
Well, I want to talk to the kids. Because a lot of kids come into the store, you know, and I'm adamant about them with their homework. You know, I just want them to know that education is the most important thing in this world. Because I dropped out of school in 6th grade. And I've learned that without that, you won't have the tools to succeed in life. And that education is something that you can, it's a rope to hold on to. And it's going to sustain you throughout your whole entire life. No one can take that from you.
Well said. And last but not least, any information, how can people go to your store, Fresh Take? How can they contact the store, and where is it? They can call,
get directions. The number is 347-281-7574.
Where's
it's between located? Castle Hill and Glebe Avenue on Westchester, immediately under the number 6 train. The 4 bus goes there, and you can just drive by car.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Keyshawn,
thank you
for taking time out today and coming and talk with me. And we'll be back with more of the Bronx Journal.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool. Really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke?
At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
Hello and welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm Miguel Gallardo. Today we have a gentleman who decided to take his passion for acting and use it to teach and cultivate the dreams of actors and actresses of all ages from the Bronx. Having been directing theater since 2001, he uses his experience to organize plays with large casts, hold comedic improv classes, and even start an online video site featuring local celebrity talents. Chris Manatakis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. How did this whole acting get started? It started at a young age?
I started acting in high school. I did a couple of little plays like in grammar school, but nothing too serious. But I really started in my junior year of high school after a couple of years of the drama teacher begging me to get involved in the shows. And
so you must have been a character in classes then.
Yeah, and junior year I finally had the courage to go for it. I tried out for my first show, and then I was in everything that they did ever since, pretty much.
All right, well, looking at a list of like all the shows that you've done, like either acted or performed or directed or anything, I can tell that acting is a passion of yours. So what made you turn it from wanting to be an actor, which you still do, it's not like you're not an actor, but to directing and starting your own theater group?
I think I enjoy acting, really because I used to be very shy, so acting gives me an opportunity to get on stage and be somebody else for a little bit. And you don't have people judging you as a human being. You just play a character, and you could go as big and as crazy as you need to in that character. So I really enjoy doing that. But I like to direct because I like to give people that same opportunity to come out of their shell and develop their skills and, just get more comfortable being on stage and getting more comfortable with, who they are as a human being. So that's a big thing for me, just helping build people's confidence the way that I feel my confidence was boosted through that experience.
So how do you feel local celebrity theater is like different from the other theater groups? Like, I know there's a bunch out there, but this is when I looked into the shows that you've done, it ranges from all ages. It's not like everything else. So from your words, how is it different from every other theater group?
When I first started the group, I said we would be the group that doesn't say no. And I think so many groups, people have ideas for things and they got shot down because they're not necessarily a guaranteed money maker, or sometimes people don't want to work with kids, or people don't want to work with, elderly people or whatever it is. I like working with everybody. I think it's fun. I like to take chances on things, and we've done original shows. We've done shows that were 100% improv. I just like to take chances, and some things work and some things don't. But you know what? If you don't try, you're never going to know.
So local celebrity theater group is a group that just takes chances, does whatever kind of show. And looking at you did a show called Dog Sees God. Mm-hmm. That's a controversial show on its own. It talks a little bit about bullying of different people in school, from homosexuality to basically anything that somebody would get bullied on. How did you go about doing that show? 'Cause
I love that show because it is so controversial, and there's such a shock value to it. And it's not something that a lot of groups would try to do. But it does tackle the issues of bullying in schools and, people being discriminated against for, how they look, how they dress, their sexual preference. But it does it in a very honest way. And I think, there's a lot of profanity in that show. I mean, it's pretty vulgar at some points. We actually had some people walk out of the show while we were performing it, that the language was offensive. But I think that's the reality of what happens. You know what I mean? People say harsh things to one another. People are really bullied, and it's mean. They say horrible things. So why not show those things, the way they really happen in a show? And if people are offended by that, then the show's doing its job. That's the reality of the situation. That's how people, people have to deal with that on a daily basis. Those people who are bullied, that's the stuff that people say to them. So
local celebrity isn't scared to push the boundaries, is what you're saying. And you have your group accepts people of all ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it ranges from like the types of shows you would do, from like Dog Sees God to Telethon for Santa. Can you talk about that show a little bit? I know there was some charities involved as well.
Telethon for Santa was an original Christmas show that we did. Myself and my friend Steve Bendler wrote that together. We just wanted to do something different. We wanted to do a Christmas show, and we were looking at the shows that are available, and it's just all the same stuff, and it's just been done to death. And I said, well, let's just write our own. It was a time that really the economy was not doing so well, and we kind of, used that and put it into the plot line. The idea was that Santa can't afford Christmas, that everything was too expensive, and that kind of thing. And I think it helped families kind of deal with the fact that maybe it was going to be a rough Christmas, and they could explain to their kids, we don't have the money that we did last year, or, whatever. It's going to, look, Santa's having a hard time, So that was kind of cool. It was a cast of over 60 people.
It's a big cast.
Which was insane. We had kids from 10 years old up until I think the oldest cast member was about 65 in that show. So it was a handful, but it was a lot of fun. And we partnered that with some charities. So
which charities did you have involved?
We were a drop-off site for the Toys for Tots, which was really cool. We had, I think, about 200 or so toys that we collected. And we also had the cast members do a sponsorship type of thing. So they would get donations, and the cast members would donate to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that was awesome.
I know, just starting, you can't just like get up and say, I want to start a theater group. What was like the issues or the roadblocks that you had getting local celebrities started? How did you get people to come and join? How did you advertise? Or what were some of the obstacles?
There's still a lot of obstacles and roadblocks. I mean, everybody, I think, wants to be a part of something positive and fun, and unfortunately, in order to start these things, a lot of work goes into it. And some people don't really understand that. Some people are not prepared to be a part of that. A lot of people just like the glory, but they don't necessarily like to put in the work. So it's always been a challenge. We've kind of had like a revolving door of people helping out. People get involved when they can, and then unfortunately, real life takes over and people are busy with their jobs, or, they're having kids, or they're getting married, or things are going on, and we lose people. But, it's just a lot of work. I started this group really with $400 out of my own pocket, and we got a little venue in Morris Park, and we put up a little show. And we made a little bit of money, not enough to do anything substantial, but I just kept trying to put a little bit of my own money into it every now and then to get things off the ground. I borrowed money from my parents when we had to. We paid them back after we did a show.
And that's mainly because LCT is a nonprofit organization. Well, it's definitely come a long way from like the small shows, that you started off, which were awesome as well. But from Telethon for Santa, which was held at Lehman High School. Also, how does that work out with the venues? I know some were held at Lehman, some are held at churches, at the yacht club.
Venues are rough. Especially we were using the Board of Ed buildings in the beginning, and over the last couple of years, there's a lot more restrictions as far as that goes. Lehman High School, for example, is a school that has metal detectors. And so because of that, if you rent that space, you also need to use the metal detectors. So I don't feel that we should have, people's grandparents coming to see them in a show and having to go through metal detectors. It's a little off-putting and, whatever. So we kind of got out of there, and we're just shopping around for different venues. We have shows coming up. I had to go into Mamaroneck and book a venue there, which it's good for the group because at least we could keep going and build up some money. But, I mean, I'm born and raised in the Bronx. Most of our talent's from the Bronx, so I really want to keep a focus in the Bronx. It's just really difficult to find a space.
Well, that just comes with the package. You want to start something big. It starts from the bottom and it works its way up, which I think it's amazing that you're doing all kinds of shows, from like the PG to the not so PG for all ages. So it gives people an opportunity, from the young kids who have a dream to act, from the old people who maybe they acted, when they were younger and they want an outlet to, express their talent. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of people. Now, LCT, it doesn't end there. I know 2014 is here. You will have a lot of plans. So what are some of the things you have coming up?
Well, We have a cabaret performance coming up, which is just, a bunch of acts singing and whatever. I applied for rights for a show, but I haven't gotten it yet, so I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to advertise a show we might not be able to do. We're also doing a lot of stuff online, which is, I've been pushing this for years now. I've been talking to the people on my board and people involved, and I keep saying, we don't have a venue. We don't have a venue that we could use 24 hours a day, so let's do stuff online. Let's use the internet as a tool. That's up 24 hours a day. People could watch it at their leisure. And I think if people see the kind of work that we do and they like, the talent involved, they'll come to see us when we do a regular production. Or it might encourage people to audition for our shows if they like the stuff that we're doing.
So there's plenty of range with LCT. It goes from being on stage and now it's like online, on screen, which gives people another opportunity. Like if giving me that opportunity, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
To
I
do
think
like a comedic skit.
I look at LCT now as not only like a community theater group, almost like it's my own production company. And like I said, I don't want to be the kind of person that says no to things or strays away from things. And so if we have someone involved with us that wants to do like an independent film or a short film or a one-act play or whatever it might be, I want to be able to give those people that opportunity. And, we're going to try to do that as best as we can.
Yeah. And you can't also look at it, in a negative light, the different venues. It's almost like an LCT tour. Anybody involved, you don't know where it's going to happen next, but it also adds, to the variety of it, different stage. So tell the people where they can find you. How can people get involved with local celebrity theater?
I use Facebook like crazy just because it's the easiest thing. So it's facebook.com/local celebrity theater. Mm-hmm. We do have localcelebritytheater.com. It's in a reconstructive state right now, but eventually that'll be up and running. But right now we're really using Facebook as much as possible.
Okay.
But that's it. I've really enjoyed it. We do the variety thing is so cool because it gives everybody an opportunity. And I think there's so many groups out there that, they use the same 5 people over and over again. It's the same group of actors, and that's great. And those people are very talented, and I know they have a fan base and, whatever. But there's so many people out there that want an opportunity to get on stage and want to perform, and I want to give them that opportunity. So, yeah, we might do a show with a cast of, high school kids, and then we might do a show with all middle-aged women. I want to give everybody an opportunity to get on stage. And the venue thing plays into that because if we do things in different neighborhoods, it just kind of gets the word out, and you get different people coming out from different areas. Now going into Mamaroneck for this, upcoming show, I'm sure we're going to get some people from Westchester too that wouldn't necessarily make the commute down into the Bronx, but I think after working with us and getting to know us and seeing the work that we do, they might want to do that now in the future. It's a 20-minute drive. It's not that serious. The Bronx has such a bad reputation, I think, with those people, but it's really not that bad, guys,
Thanks for coming. And we'll be back with more of the Bronx Journal.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
I think it breaks a little to the left.
To the right.
Nope, straight.
I told you it was going right. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day.
For fun playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Hi, and welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm William Bourdieu. Some filmmakers make big blockbusters for entertainment, while others make films seeking to educate, provoke, and awaken their audiences by exploring controversial themes. James Duarte is one of the latter authors. He is born and raised in the Bronx. Duarte is a filmmaker, screenwriter, and director. In his own words, being a filmmaker enables him to produce material that raises questions about the present issues of modern society. Some of his work has gone onto the screen at venues that include the Tribeca Film Festival, HBO's Latino Film Festival, and the New York's Museum of Modern Art. He is also co-founder of the Dominican Film Festival in New York, aiming to keep New York City's audiences engaged with the Dominican cinema. Welcome to the Bronx Journal, James.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. James, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you go to school for?
Sure. Well, I graduated from the City College of New York last year. I studied film and television, and I also took some courses in political science and English.
Okay, interesting. How you got into film?
I don't know. It's always an interesting story. I happened to just, at the age of 9, just had a curiosity in owning a handy cam. And my dad really supported it, bought me the camera and, would make small videos with my friends and family members. And that kind of just grew out of this innate desire to want to make movies. Okay. And so I went to a middle school that supported that, and a performing arts high school, and so it's always been a dream of mine. So
okay, so you would say this was something that came naturally ever since
absolutely.
you were a little kid.
Always.
Where do you get your inspiration from when it comes to film?
I like to tell stories that address contradictions and that raise questions about society. Sometimes I'm walking on the street, and a certain situation might strike me as dramatic, and I'd like to explore those kind of situations on screen.
Okay. You're also a screen writer and a director. If you have to pick, which one will you pick, or what's the difference? Which one you like more?
I have, the equal experience doing both. I feel that screenwriting is something that I want to develop right now. Okay. I feel that directing will eventually, come in and I will have my time to direct, but screenwriting is something I want to focus on at this moment.
Okay, what kind of films are you interested?
I liked political thrillers. I'm sort of getting into love stories nowadays, but I definitely am into political psychological thrillers, have you end of your seat, and films that treat their audience with intelligence. I don't want to, give you all the information. I want you to use your imagination as well.
Okay, talking about films, you are part of this new up-and-coming generation of filmmakers, but you have a different focus. Why do you think it's important for you to actually create a different type of films that actually, provoke and, raise questions into society to make more educational films?
So this is the difference. There's a difference between entertainment and art.
Yeah.
What the films that I create, I like to consider them pieces of artwork. Yeah. Where they're meant to provoke you in certain ways. They're meant to engage you and really change your perspective on certain things, if possible. But entertainment is more kind of like Hollywood blockbuster, where it's more action-packed, it's more violent. I rather explore themes that are about human nature and not always so much tilted to what the mainstream is, which is entertainment. You sit down at a theater, you get 90 minutes of action and all that, but there's
so you
more
would
to
say
it.
You're not really into entertainment?
I think that there's a place for different things, but for me, I rather catch a film at the Angelica.
Okay. What do you think makes a great director?
Well, so one of the things I've learned is that you have to be a good actor, because how are you going to direct an actor if you know how to act? So I'm actually taking the fall to take some acting courses because I've never have, and so I think that could be a good benefit.
So you're also planning on doing some acting?
I've always resisted because I like being behind the camera.
Yeah.
But the part of the this industry is knowing both sides, and if you're working on the other side, you should definitely know.
What do you think is the more challenging things when it comes to making a film?
Finding a story that's compelling, because as humans, we hear stories all the time. This is a story, from memories to jokes. We are storytellers. So finding something that's compelling and that can provide you or give you a range of experiences in a limited amount of time is really the process. And for me, that's always a challenge.
Okay. You're also a co-founder of the Dominican Film Festival here in New York City. Can you tell us a little bit about?
I'm the executive, the creative director for the festival. It's in its third year. We're gearing up for the festival. It's happening in June, from June 18th to the 22nd, and it's happening in Washington Heights at the Columbia Auditorium, Columbia's Medical Center Auditorium, and the Armory. And we're really excited. We're going to be showing over 30 films from both the Dominican Republic and films made by Dominicans here and around the world. There's a huge population, so it's really exciting because it's a community event. Yeah. And Dominicans and the diverse, New York City, film-going audience is really excited about the films that are coming out of the island. And so I really hope that as many people check it out.
Why Dominicans? Why you guys focus only on that part?
There's an emerging culture, filmmaking culture that's happening right now, and it's growing immensely. There's a lot of money being put into the development of films, film studios on the island. It's also cheaper to shoot in DR, and so Dominicans come from a very interesting background in terms of our history, and a lot of stories. We're full of stories, and so I think capturing on screen and creating those experiences for a large audience is definitely possible.
Yeah. How you got involved into this Dominican Film Festival?
I was about to graduate from school, and looking into the industry. I had heard about the first annual, which happened in 2011. Yeah. And I always told myself, hey, I should get involved for the next one. And so through word of mouth, I was put in contact with the founder, Armando Guareño, and we clicked from the beginning, and we're working together.
Yeah. How you guys go about the process of selecting these movies? I mean, like, what kind of movies are you guys looking for? You guys are looking for anything specific?
So the Dominican Republic has their festival, the Dominican Film Festival in the DR. And so Armando, attends. I'll be attending this year. And that's kind of like the baseline for the kind of films that we think, are worth bringing to the U.S. And so we also do a call for submissions, and we've received over 300 from around the world. And so the submissions end this weekend, but there's a lot to work with and to see. And so for us, it's really about putting together a program that is diverse and shows a wide range of stories.
All of those movies are going to be shown?
Yeah, we're going to have, as I said, over 30 films showing in those 5 days. Coming in June.
Can others Latin groups apply for this festival, or is it just going to be focused on the Dominican?
No,
culture?
it's we want to showcase Dominican talent. Yeah. So that can be actors. The actors can be Dominican. The talent behind the cameras, the writers, the producers, the directors can be Dominican. But that's not limited to just that demographic. It's open to all individuals who can tell a story about the Dominican experience. Okay. So you not necessarily have to be Dominican, but if you're telling a story that Dominicans can relate to, why not?
And what about the movies? The movies have to be made in any specific language?
No, they don't have to be made in the Dominican Republic at all.
Okay. Okay. What about the language? It has to be bilingual, English?
It doesn't really matter as long as there's subtitles. If it's in Spanish, English subtitles. If it's in English, Spanish subtitles. We might have some French or Portuguese, but it obviously would have subtitles.
Okay. What is the mission of the Dominican Film Festival? What do you guys hope people can take from it?
What we want to do with this festival is provide a platform for emerging talent and the established talent to come together. We want to bridge the gap between those two communities throughout, while celebrating the rise of Dominican cinema. As I said, it's growing exponentially, and for us, it's really about bringing those two communities together and fostering collaboration, support, and more cinema.
Okay, why do you think there is such a lack of Latin films nominated for the Oscars and the big awards?
Well, I mean, this year we had a couple of Carrillo Guaron, who won the best director, but I think it's emerging, and we're still getting there. There's a lot of training that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Resources
Yeah.
is something that the Latino communities and most underrepresented communities lack. And so once we can have individuals to support arts, support artists and their films, we can overcome major roadblock. But at this moment, I think it has to do a lot of our socioeconomics.
James, if people want to get involved with the Dominican Film Festival, they just want to be part
they
of
should
the screening.
like us on Facebook, facebook.com/DFFNYC. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. You can also visit the website at DominicanFilmFestival.com.
Okay. James, I want to thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming to the show. And everybody at home, we will see you next time on another edition of the Bronx Journal.